Hey Dan, Sunday evening. We just returned from our trip up north being Niswa, Nisswa, just north of Brainerd, north of St. Cloud, north of Minneapolis. Oh, it's about 4.5 hours drive from here if you drive the fastest roads in the most efficient manner. So maybe 5 with traffic, which we definitely had going up. Coming back, we took a Haug route in that we, instead of coming south all the way down into Minneapolis, we cut east over to Mille Lacs. Around Mille Lacs is just this giant lake. You would think of the 11,124 lakes in Minnesota, Mille Lacs would count as more than one because it's massive, but it's only one. And over to the Wisconsin border, and then follow the St. Croix River down, and then cut a little bit through Wisconsin, back over the Mississippi at Red Wing and down to Winona. That added a little more than an hour to our trip, but also we weren't in a hurry. We stopped in Stillwater and had lunch. We stopped at a couple of other places and stretched. So we just weren't in much of a hurry getting back down the river. It was, and still is, a beautiful weekend. Low to mid 70s, very little wind, no clouds. And that was a bit unusual for, I would say that's central northern Minnesota. I mean, you just don't know what you're going to get this time of, in September. It could be hot in Winona anyway. It could be cold. It could be in the 30s. So they did have an inside venue as an alternative to their outside venue. Their outside venue was just in and amongst the standing white pines, which all of northern Minnesota, central northern Minnesota, was all standing white pines until J.J. Hill and Weyerhaeuser conspired to cut them all down. They're slowly growing back, very slowly. Anyway, the wedding was last night. It was a late afternoon wedding. Very nice. Let's see, my battery's dying. Anyway, very nice. And reception to follow. It was on a lake, of course, because with 11,124 to choose from, it's not hard to come by. And a lot of the Winona gang were up there. It was, enjoyed it very much. But that's not what I came here to talk to you about. We were staying at a little cabin right on a lake. As it turns out, we were, purely by coincidence, about 20 paces away from where Dave and Ann had put their pop-up camper in this campground, and we were staying in a cabin. So yesterday morning, the sun comes up. We're looking out from the east onto the lake, so the sun wasn't quite on our shore of the lake yet, and it was only like maybe 500 meters across, and then maybe 1,200 meters in length. So I thought, well, I'm going to go out for a swim. I didn't have my buoy with me, but I wasn't really worried. There were no boats on the lake, and water was, the water was, I don't know, what was it? It was 22 degrees. The air was about 12, 13 degrees, so there was a little cooler. But once you swam into the sun, it was really nice. So I'm over there. I swim over, I swim across, and then I hang a left and I start swimming the long way. And I'm just thinking, this is so nice in the sun. I'm really enjoying it. Then I start thinking, this should be nice to have somebody else with me. Even one other person would be nice. And then, and I had aimed for this particular point I was going to swim to, and I figured all told it was going to be 40 minutes in the water. And at that point, I was probably maybe 10 or 12 or 15 minutes in, maybe close to 20. And I just had this feeling that I was not comfortable. And I decided to turn and head back, and I could see back to where I came from, and I started swimming that diagonal back to where I had come from. Essentially, I had swam at that point 2 legs of a triangle, and I was swimming the hypotenuse back. And then and I've not had this except one time I can think of when I was swimming in really, really cold water, like 40-degree water with Glenn, and it was really windy. I started worrying, and I started worrying about being out in the lake and not being able to get back. And then I felt like I was having shortness of breath. Wasn't sure I actually was. And then I started thinking that the reason most of the time that when people drown, they drown because of panic. That's not exactly what you want to think about when you're out in the middle of the lake. It's like trying to think about the fact that most of the time when people puke, it's because they're thinking about puking. So anyway, so instead of angling back to where I came from, I decided to head straight back to the shore, the nearest shoreline, because I figured then I could just follow the shoreline back. And I was trying to calm my breathing, keep my pace even and steady, and not think about the fact that, and trying not to swim hard, trying to make sure I did not break out into an inadvertent sprint. But it was probably the most disconcerted and almost panicky that I've been in open water in a really long time. And like I said, the lake wasn't that big. I mean, it was like slightly bigger than LeCaine, I would say. Quite a bit bigger than LeCaine, but not big enough that it should be an issue. Because at no point was I more than, say, 300 yards away from any given shore, 400 yards away from any given shore. So anyway, it was a very strange experience, and I was glad to get back on terra firma. I did not go again swimming this morning, so I'm going to have to make sure to bring my buoy when I'm in situations like that again. I was nervous going into it. I don't know why I've become more, I don't know. I would say that it's amplifying something, inside, some anxiety. And I don't know what that is. So anyway, that's it. That's all I got. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.